Prize Award 2019 set to take place in March. Maina Gyoko, a teacher at Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa, and Peter Tabichi, a teacher at Kiriko Day Secondary School in Nakuru, beat thousands of teachers across the globe to land spots in the top 50 list. NTV's education reporter Sharon Baranga with a story on what sets them apart in the teaching profession.
Good afternoon, class.
A mathematics class is in session at Kiriko Secondary School in Pwani Village, Nakuru County.
This is A and this is B.
The captain of the class is a Franciscan brother of the Catholic Church, Peter Tabichi, who also teaches physics in this school. Tabichi has a story to tell, one that has influenced his nomination for what is the largest teacher prize award of its kind globally.
And then next, you get the difference.
Kiriko Secondary School is not too well resourced. Tabichi has canvassed for donations to equip the school laboratory, boosted the self-esteem of his students by launching a talent nurturing club, a peace club for debating, and strengthening the school science club.
I mentor the students who are later on able to proceed to different levels, from sub-county, county, regional, and then up to national level. Like now in the year 2017, we had some students who matched the best in chemistry. And then last year, we also had a group of students who matched as the best in mathematics category. And in general, our school was ranked the best public school in Kenya.
Many of their projects have qualified for national competitions, and the mathematical science team has qualified to participate at the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair 2019 in Arizona, USA.
This also has translated into good academic performance. He has also encouraged the other members of staff to use ICT whenever they are teaching.
Tabichi integrates ICT into 80% of his lessons.
Let's appreciate my hand.
Hundreds of kilometers away from Nakuru is another teacher who is also carving out his own mark through his impact. Coincidentally, Maina Gyoko is also a physics, design, technology, and world studies teacher at the Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa.
Why do poachers take tusks from elephants?
He has also landed a spot in the Top 50 Global Teacher Prize Award, an initiative of the Vaki Foundation.
You meet different people and they share with you their hopes, and you are able to facilitate and they realize their dream. That's what keeps me wanting to teach and engaging with the learners every day.
Every year, Maina and the students conduct a deworming exercise in their community, which is a learning opportunity for the class, as they have been able to monitor the level of wellness and the quality of water in the area, linking this back to their studies.
The kind of contribution that he's making to the teaching profession is quite significant, and especially in the area of teacher development, both in the academy and also in the outreach program.
Not only does that reflect really well on us and the work that we do at the academy, but it's also a testament to the work that Maina has done in and beyond the academy.
I will advise all the other teachers, don't just be a compliant teacher. Try to do more than what you're supposed to do. Try to add more value in the lives of the people that you are having.
Kenyan teachers have represented the continent in the 100 million shillings award, which is in its 5th year. The two tutors beat over 10,000 teachers who are either nominated or applied for the award from 179 countries around the world. A prize committee will narrow down the top 50 shortlisted teachers to 10 finalists.
Thank you so much.
The results will be announced in February, and the winner will be crowned in March in Dubai. The Global Teacher Prize was set up to recognize one exceptional teacher who has made an outstanding contribution to the profession, as well as to shine a spotlight on the important role teachers play in society. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
Well, they indeed play a very important role in the society, but away from that very, very talked about conversation, the executive has maintained a studious silence on revelations that Kenya put up its assets as security for the standard gauge railway. The Office of the President, the National Treasury, the Ministry of Transport and the Attorney General's Office have kept mum on the terms of the contract which President Uhuru Kenyatta rightly stated the Kenyan taxpayer has every right to be privy to. The government offices involved have either snubbed our numerous inquiries, passed the buck, or refused to go on record. Did the president, in his boldness, state wrong information as truth? And where is the accountability the president spoke so passionately about only weeks ago? Olive Barrows takes a closer look.
In terms of the contract, I think the more oxygen or fresh air there is, the better.
Rather than take counsel, it appears the executive has chosen to muffle clarity over the standard gauge railway deal with China. The government offices concerned being the National Treasury, which signed for the deal, the Ministry of Transport, the custodian and ministry responsible for the implementation of the project, and the State Law Office.
All major contracts have to be signed off by the Attorney General's Office, and the AG, his role and his people is to look at the legal aspects of not just the contract, but the procedures that have been undertaken to get to that contractual document, to ensure that the country will not get into a bad deal, that the clauses of the contract will be in the interests of the people of Kenya.
An expectation the State Law Office, alongside the National Treasury and the Ministry of Transport, apparently failed to meet.
They did the feasibility study, and then they did the consultancy the design work. And then again they did the construction. And then they supervised themselves in construction. So all the stages of the chain where you're meant to have checks and balances between different professionals to check each other, to test what is being done, were being done by the same agency. So it becomes very difficult to tell whether you got value for money, what could have gone wrong.
IMF and World Bank, those financial institutions have a structure on how you get into loans. First, you do a feasibility study, is done by 3 people. Government itself does. A contractor who wants that contract will do his own, which definitely they lose a rubber stamp. Then an independent one, which is mostly done by the financial institutions itself. If it was World Bank, then IMF will do it. So there is that somebody who is an independent one.
The terms of the contract, a copy of which was obtained by The Nation, show that China has taken on zero risk, while none of Kenya's assets are safe from seizure should she default.
The biggest problem with that contract, without clause, is that we talk about lifting sovereign immunity, and Chinese laws only apply. So you're left at the mercy of China. And you know, that power is given by the Constitution. So even somebody to lift it up, it has to go through a process. Even Parliament has to be involved.
Reached for comment, the former Attorney General, Githum Wigai, on whose desk the legalities sat, stated, "You've got the wrong man." And while the sitting Attorney General Kihara Kariuki did seek to establish the exact nature of our inquiry through his communications team, he has yet to respond 1 week down the line. Inquiries made to the National Treasury were met with a wall of silence from the Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich. Sources indicate that Treasury's defense is that the CES signs on the strength of approvals by the Attorney General and the Transport Ministry. Transport CS James Macharia did return text messages but was non-committal on the terms of the copy of the contract in Nation's possession. As for recourse,
the Attorney General has a case to answer. The office itself has to explain if this contract is true, what we are seeing in the public domain, that these are the terms of reference that they signed to. And also the person who signed it, which is the Minister of Finance. The
more the members of the public see the contract, the better, because then we'll have a genuine national conversation about did we get a good deal, where may there have been some shortcomings, and what is the best way of addressing them.
Olive Barrows, NTV.
All right, and just to point as fact of clarification and an apology to the two gentlemen who were speaking in that report. There was a mix-up of the names. Tony Watima was the economist. He was named as Charles Kanjama, the lawyer, so the names are a bit of a mix-up. We do apologize for that mishap. Now, a family in Kakamega is mourning their beloved one who allegedly died after a quarrel with his daughter over a cup of tea. The police say they have commenced investigations into the matter that has left the village in shock. Zainab Ismail takes us to the shocked and grieving village in western Kenya.
A summer mood has engulfed Matete village following the sudden death of Mzee Gabriel Nangabo. The 60-year-old man is said to have collapsed and died shortly after what has been concluded to be a scuffle over a cup of tea with his daughter, 26-year-old Mercy Amaya. Mercy allegedly barred her father from drinking his tea, and a physical confrontation between the two ensued, leading to the incident.
Nikampea chai kwa meza. Kurudi huko nini kwa rumu ya kulala nasikia kitu inaanguka kwa nini? Kwa sitting room. Kukuja mbio nikakuta ameanguka na akafanya tu na ikaisha hivyo.
Tumesikia tu nduru na tukakuja hapa tukapata mzee ambaye ni ndugu yangu ameshaaga. Na ilikuwa tu katika hiyo hali tu ya ujibishano. Nafikiri hiyo pressure ilipanda alafu ikamzidi na akaenda tu hivyo.
Doctors are however expected to clarify the specific cause of death after a postmortem.
Huyo mtoto huwa alisalia hapa mtoto naye ni kiserani tu. Hata kwa watoto wengine wachanga huwa na wachapa tu kwa ajili wameshika kwa mtoto yake.
Vile nilitoka huko kufika hapa ndio nikakutana na mama anapika nduru ati mzee ameaga.
Elsewhere in the region, a family in Malava constituency is seeking answers after the body of their son was found lying lifeless alongside a road in Malava town 2 days ago. The family of Colin Shivachi says the Alkinmas have been killed since he bore knife stab injuries on his neck. Zakus Masami, NTV, Kakamega.
Very unfortunate incident there. Now, police have arrested 29 men in Dandora Phase 5 who are believed to hail from Ethiopia. They were taken to Dandora Police Station, after which they were transferred to Buruburu Police Station. Police claim that the men did not have documents to show they were legally in Kenya. However, efforts to film the seized persons were met by firm objection from the police officers. They barred our teams from filming anything, not even getting some footage of the alleged aliens in a transit. This alleged arrest comes as the government remains keen on rooting out illegal immigrants. All right, and from that, we are going to take a very short break here on NTV Weekend Edition. Don't go away, we still have a lot lined up for you. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, a 54-year-old Grace Odongo is the lady who extended an act of kindness during the recent terror attack at 14 Riverside. Of her own volition, she made sure the officers were well taken care of by providing food and hot beverage as the security personnel fought to contain the terrorists. The attack saw about 21 innocent people die, while others were left with serious injuries. Grace narrated her story to NTV's Ellen Aura, and this is her story.
It was around 3:30, and I had one of my clients telling one of the workers to switch on the TV. They are breaking news. So I got out to see what is the breaking news. That's when I saw that there is an attack at Dusit. I watched a little, and then I asked myself, this is not something that I should be watching. My cousin asked me, write a list of the things that you think would be needed. I just wrote for him, you know, the beverages, milk, maybe disposable cups, and so on. But I decided to call the station. Actually, I wanted to walk there. But then I said, it is late at night, it is dark, and I don't know what is happening. They may not even open for me the gate if I drive there, considering what is going on. So I called a policeman that I had his number. So he sent me the number for the OCS. I called him. I told him, oh, I would like to make something hot for the policemen who are helping at D2. He told me that is good. So I asked him, how do I get there? He told me, bring it to the police station, we'll know how it will get there. We had made quite an amount because we had about 30 liters. So we gave the ones who were there, but it was not enough. We made more tea. I packed some mineral water and bought the buns which were there. I got everything that was there. We left there around 12:30. Then the OCS said, tomorrow in the morning, if you are able to give us something very early, it would be very nice. So I asked him how early. He said 5 a.m. So we came back. We slept like 2 hours with my ladies. We made tea again. We went back. It was not enough. We went back at 9. We went back at 11. Then they said, now, madam, you've given us tea, but now we are hungry. So I called the girls who had remained here and said, start cutting the cabbages, remove the lice. I called somebody at City Market. I told him, prepare for me 20 kilos of meat and don't bring it when it's not cut. Let it be cut and send it by motorbike. So we prepared the lunch. We took tea in the evening. The following day we took tea. So for me, it was, you people, just continue. We'll support you. Continue. We are with you. We can help you with what we can. I didn't expect anybody to reimburse me, but I knew that in due course, God will give me clients, and I will forget what I spent. As long as God gives me life and gives me the strength, I can never watch a human life in trouble. When I got married, we settled in Kisumu with my husband, because he comes from Nyanza, and Kisumu was a good place for him. I settled there very well, and I had no complaint about being in Kisumu until 2007-008. I was called by a certain old man called Israel Agina and told me, leave Kisumu for your safety. After that, I moved to Nairobi, to this place where I am right now. I disposed of whatever I could dispose of in Kisumu to be able to come and settle in Nairobi. My children were very affected. They cannot come to terms why they had to leave their home simply because their mother is a Kikuyu. But I keep telling them, it's not just their mother is a Kikuyu. This is Thagari.
And we'd like to thank Mama Grace Wamboi. Thank you so much. Your kindness has been felt by many Kenyans. Now, matatu owners from Nairobi and central Kenya have vowed to reject the government's scheme to introduce the bus rapid transport buses aimed at decongesting the roads. They want the government to defer the procurement of buses for 10 years to allow for adequate preparations. But the debate seems to have taken a turn into another round in the war of words between Governors Mike Sonko and Ferdinand Waititu. Matatu owners drawn from Kiambu, Murang'a, Laikipia, Nyandarua, Kajiado, Nairobi, Machakos and Nyeri counties have complained that the government has been formulating transport sector-related policies without their inclusion, which they say is bad for investment.
All it does ni kufungua nafasi ya more corruption in the industry. Yetu, maombi yetu, ni tuwe tutambulike kama real investors.
The new patron, Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, echoed their sentiments, calling on the government to postpone the procurement of the buses for 10 years to allow for adequate preparations, and taking a swipe at Transport and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary James Macharia and Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko and NTSA Director General Francis Major, whom Waititu once kicked out of office.
Wewe unaona wazimu mwingine juzi anasema ati hawezi peana license ati kwa 14 sita. Kwani barabara ni yake? Kwani wale watu wanaenda kubebwa ni watoto yake? Hajui ni biashara inafanyika? Mwingine wazimu anaamuka safari moja kusema ati hamwezi kuja Nairobi. Kwani Nairobi ni kwake? Si watu wajue Nairobi ni kwa kila mtu.
Back in the capital, another group of matatu sector players who are in support of Governor Sonko came out with a response.
Ulikuwa kiongozi wa maana, lakini naona unaanza kupoteza relevant. In your manifesto there was no BRT. In Sonko's manifesto there was issue about BRT. So kindly leave Nairobi alone the way it is.
Amid the push and pull over the implementation of the BRT and phasing out of the 14-seater matatus, Governor Waititu argued that his Nairobi counterpart had abandoned interests of people and overlooked the important public participation before making decisions.
Tusikane kwa kitu moja. Hamutakubali tena Nairobi iende kwa mtu ambaye hapana jali maslahi yenu.
The strain in the relationship between the two governors, which is once again coming to the fore, was last openly in the public during the demolitions in Nairobi, when Waititu criticized the demolition of buildings constructed on riparian land in Nairobi, which prompted Sonko to respond, asking Waititu to keep off Nairobi county affairs and focus service delivery in his own county. But the relationship took a hit again when a leaked phone conversation between the two went viral, as Waititu was hard pleading with Sonko to release his wife and 14 workers who were arrested over unapproved construction in the city.
Si mimi mwenyewe nimeongea na mama. Nimekwambia tumeongea.
And even as the political punches continue, the first batch of the BRT vehicles, which had already been identified in South Africa, is expected to arrive this month. The buses are to be deployed on the already marked Thika Superhighway and other major roads within the capital. Now, tension is rising between Turkana and Pokot leaders over the ownership of Kapedo, which borders Turkana and Baringo counties. The wrangle is attributed to the move by the Geothermal Development Company to explore electricity in the region. Seth Olale with more.
The Kapedo borderland, which in a number of instances has been volatile, has been peaceful for the last 6 months. But there is now a potential threat to the continued existence of this peace owing to an ongoing tussle over its ownership. Turkana and Pokot political leaders have openly started a back and forth over the ownership of Kapedo. While reacting to remarks made by Turkana counterparts over the dispute surrounding the 18-acre border, Baringo Deputy Speaker Ameja Selamoi said the court ruled that Kapedo was in Baringo County and any leader who says otherwise will be breaching the 2013 ruling.
The historical background of this country is well known, that Kapedo is in Tiaty sub-county.
Recent developments pioneered by the Geothermal Development Company, GDC, of exploring geothermal energy in the region might have elicited the controversy of the ownership of the region, which is reportedly rich in geothermal energy. Last week, leaders led by Turkana South MP James Lomenen and his Turkana East counterpart Ali Lokiru said Kapedo is in Turkana County, which Pokot leaders are now dismissing, saying the area is in Baringo County.
Why are they discussing Kapedo as a section in Baringo County? They should be discussing about Lomelo, Lokuris, and other places. So they should keep off Kapedo. 5
people lost their lives in May 2018 and a host of others injured from attacks between warring Pokot and Turkana communities. Seth Olale, NTV.
All right, and we're going to take yet another break here on NTV Weekend Edition. When we come back, we'll take a look at a bit of politics in the country. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, Deputy President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga have called on the political class to fully embrace the handshake so as to enhance development in the country. SDP Ruto has spoken in a tone that goes against many critics who say his differences with Odinga are holding him back from supporting the pact. The leaders who spoke at separate events have also called on Kenyans to coexist harmoniously.
Deputy President William Ruto, his wife Rachel Ruto, and a host of politicians were hosted at AIC Pipeline, where they joined faithful for the Sunday service. Alongside them were aspirants for the Embakasi South parliamentary seat, that is Julius Mawathe and Irshad Sumra, who hoped for an endorsement from the DP as each sets their ground for their upcoming by-election. Here, the DP insisted on the need to embrace the handshake, saying it is set to bring more good to the country.
Ile msingi tuliweka 2013 ya kuondoa siasa ya ugomvi na fitina na ukabila, ndio tunajenga juu yake sasa, kusema ya kwamba sote kama Wakenya tunataka uwiano na ushirikiano na umoja na undugu na urafiki, ili tuweze kwa pamoja kama watu wa taifa moja tuweze kushughulikia mahitaji ya maendeleo ya watu wa Kenya.
DP Ruto has been the subject of criticism on his support for the handshake, with critics arguing that he is not fully behind it in light of his strained relationship with ODM leader Raila Odinga. He spoke in a tone contrary to these claims, saying that the handshake has provided an avenue for implementing the Big Four agenda, thus opening up room for employment opportunities to the youth.
Tuweke mipango ya kamili kuhakikisha kwamba vijana wengi ambao wanahangaika hawana kazi kupitia Big Four, mambo ya housing, mambo ya manufacturing, wapate ajira ndio waache kuhangaika, na vile vile tuhakikishe ya kwamba tunazalisha uchumi ndio tuweze kukabiliana na umaskini.
On his part, Raila Odinga had the same message as he was joined by President Uhuru Kenyatta's brother Muhoho Kenyatta and Jubilee Secretary General Raphael Tuju for the 25th anniversary of his father's death.
We want the Christians all over the country to pray for peace and tranquility in our country. Peace is so critical and important for any development in the country. Without peace, there can be no development.
So the handshake is not just a Kenyan matter. It is something for the whole of East Africa. We have our shared humanity. We must not hate somebody else because they belong to a different tribe, or they belong to a different county, or they belong to a different denomination. That is not the command of God. The command of God is that you shall love your brother as you love yourself. We have to really praise our two leaders to bring everybody in this country together.
The two leaders called on Kenyans to focus on developing the country and shun divisive politics. Kennedy Muredi, NTV.
Now, the troubles at Ekeza Sacco are not going away. The frustrated members are still crying for their hard-earned money. A group of men who had saved at the Sacco paid a surprise visit to Calvary Chosen Center, shepherded by popular televangelist Bishop David Kariuki, who also owns the Sacco, to demand for their money. One of the members, Bernard Kamau, complained that he was a regular saver in the Sacco, but his application for a loan fell on deaf ears. Robert Madenge and Peter Kamau were also regular members, were displeased about the Sacco's inhospitable services. When the bishop heard about the matter, he is said to have quickly fled the church, leaving the members unattended to. The members who started saving at the financial institution a few years ago are now pleading with the government to intervene.
Nimesida kwa ofisi zao, kila mara nimeenda, nimeambiwa ngojea kidogo, kila mara ngojea kidogo. Sasa ndio nikaamua sasa wacha niende kwa kanisa yake, nimuone, aniambie hiyo pesa yangu nitapata namna gani.
Wakati nilikuja kuitisha loan, nilikosa. Nikaambiwa kwamba nitapata lakini sikupata. Nikakuja tena nikakuta kwamba tena sitapata. So nikaamua tena ni withdraw pesa zangu.
Tunaomba governor please tusikie. Ongea na Gakuo aturudishie pesa yetu. Tuna shida, tunalia.
Now, an angry congregation closed down PCEA Kitale East Parish, accusing the pastor of mismanagement of church funds and dismissing old members within the church committee. The pastor, Amos Kamau, is accused of dismissing the old committee members who were involved in the planning of the new church without informing the rest of the congregation. They claim he did this so as to pocket funds that were meant to aid in the construction of a new church building, which has been put on hold due to lack of finances. The pastor, however, denied the accusations, claiming the organization committee in the church saw it fit for the new members to be brought in. Congregants camped outside to ensure the doors were not opened as they exchanged words with the pastor. Elizabeth Kirumba, the treasury, was also present in support of the pastor's eviction.
Lakini kufungia watu kanisa si vyema. It is evil, it is sinful even before God. Si vizuri kwa sababu is our refuge. Tutapotelea wapi tukifungiwa kanisa? Kanisa litafungwa
na tutalifunga kwa sababu sisi ndio tumelijenga kama watu ya Kibomet, na hatutafuata matakwa yao, tutafuata yetu until wao wakubali, tusikizane, tufanye kazi kwa pamoja.
Mzozo ilianza wakati tulianza kujenga, tulikuwa tunataka tujenge, lakini lobby yetu ni moja tu, tulipe sasa na tujenge kanisa. Hiyo ndio tunaomba, kwa sababu tunaambia tusijenge pesa yote idage sasa, hata watu wakitoa simiti iende sasa. Hiyo ndio shida yetu tuko nayo.
All right, and we're going to take yet another short break here on NTV Weekend Edition. Stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's now take a look at other stories making headlines across our borders. Now, presidential elections runners-up in the just concluded poll in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Martin Fayulu, has declared that he is the only one to be recognized as the president-elect. This follows the Constitutional Court's declaration of Felix Tshisekedi as the winner. Tshisekedi has welcomed the ruling and pledged to unite the country. Fayulu has called for peaceful demonstrations as he called to the citizenry not to acknowledge any other leadership.
The presidential election in the Democratic Republic of Congo has been the center of debate and conflict. The matter, after being contested, went to the Constitutional Court, which has made its ruling.
We proclaim the elected with a simple majority, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Mr. Tshisekedi Tshilombo Felix.
I also thank those who did not vote for me. Congo has won this evening. It is not the victory of one camp against another. I committed myself in this campaign to reconcile the Congolese people with each other, the Congolese with the Congo, and I will commit myself to that.
The court declared that Fayulu failed to make his case against the Electoral Commission. Tshisekedi's UDPS party, on the other hand, defended the Constitutional Court's handling of the petition, insisting that it acted independently and within the law. Martin Fayulu, the runner-up in the poll, has rejected the Constitutional Court's declaration of Felix Tshisekedi as president-elect. Fayulu maintains that he is the legitimate winner of the election, accusing the Constitutional Court of acting at the behest of the Joseph Kabila regime.
Par cet arrêt,
Once more, the Constitutional Court confirms that thanks to the National Electoral Commission, it is at the service of an individual and a regime, that it's dictatorial and respects neither the law of the public nor the most elementary rules of democracy and morality.
It remains to be seen what the international community's response to the Constitutional Court's finding will be, with the African Union having cited serious doubt as to the conformity of the results declared by the Electoral Commission.
We are here and there is no chaos, no uprising. It's the first time that there is peaceful political change in our country, so I'm pleased, even if there are some people who are not happy with these results. But all the same, it's a good thing for our country. Martin Fayulu needs to let it go. Going to the Constitutional Court and all that is just creating problems. The Congo that we are going to build from tomorrow will no longer be the Congo of division, hatred, tribalism. It will be a reconciled Congo, a strong Congo looking towards development in peace and security for all.
A joint investigation by Financial Times and Radio France International also revealed data that points to huge electoral fraud. The Catholic Church has also cast doubt on Tshisekedi's win, saying the results published by the Electoral Commission do not correspond with the data collected by its observers.
All right, and at this point, we are going to take yet another short break. But when we come back, Ida Waringa will be bringing you all the sporting action. And before we take a break, I can see she has adorned in a very beautiful lipstick. And when we come back, I'd like her to tell me, how does a duck buy lipstick?
talking to you now, I'm still trying to rack my brain to answer Zainab's question about how a duck buys lipstick. Zainab, I will have to pass the riddle back to you. But let's get into the world of sport, Ida Warenga. And it's happy times for Gor Mahia, who are through to the CAF Confederation Cup group stage. This after the Kenyan champions held a New Stars Day Douala to a barren draw in Limbe, Cameroon. Gor had edged out the Cameroonians 2-1 in the first leg in Kasarani and needed to avoid defeat or earn a draw of any kind at Limbe's Omnisports Stadium. This is Gor Mahia's second successive participation in the lucrative group stage after dropping down to the second tier following elimination from the CAF Champions League. Qualification guarantees Kogalo 27 million shillings for operation for matches in the group stage, while the draw for the last 16 will be held on Monday in Cairo, Egypt. Congratulations there to Sir Carl. Let's move on. Both Sunday KPL matches ended in draws. Western Steamer climbed to third place after a 2-2 draw with Nzoia Sugar at the Moi Stadium in Kisumu. Vincent Odongo scored a Steamer's opener with goalkeeper Samuel Odiambo netting from the spot. Stephen Etiang and Jackson Duang equalized for the Sugar Millers, who now climb to 8th on 10 points. In the other match of the day, Tusker FC settled for a goalless draw with Ulinzi Stars at the Afraha Stadium. The Brewers now rise to 4th on the log with 14 points, while the Soldiers remain rooted in 10th position with 10 points. Double Navigator champion Tuta Mionki was voted the best motorsports personality in 2018 as KNRC champion Carl Flash Tindo, navigated by Team Jessup, emerged as the main class champion at the annual Kenya Motorsports Federation Annual Awards on the season ended to the 2018 season. Well, the 2019 rally season officially gets underway this month, even as drivers received more pledges of support from the Kenya Motorsport Federation and title sponsors KCB.
Tuta Mionki is the 2018 Motorsports Personality of the Year, beating Carl Flash Tunda and Team Jessup to the award in the gala held last night at the Carnival Grounds. Navigator Mionki with her driver Eric Bengi won the Division 1 and Group N driver and navigator titles, finishing third in the National Co-Drivers category. She becomes the first woman to finish on the podium in the male-dominated event. Eric Bengi and Mionki also finished a career 5th in the Safari in a Subaru Impreza N12.
The WRC coming here is a good thing for all of us because we all have to pace ourselves to match those boys. It's something to look up to and to see how to improve ourselves.
Basically, just to encourage more women to join the sport, because I think this is the first time a woman has won it, and to encourage younger people to join the sport, but continue trying to do the best that I can.
In his Menengai Oil Mitsubishi Evo 10, Carl Flash Tundo, navigated by Team Jessup, were crowned the main class champions in the Kenya National Rally Championship after scoring 6 out of 8 victories, including the Africa Championship Safari Rally. Jessup had the best of the season, which saw the emergence of new studs.
Top Fry, Eric, you, me, legends, cover us, we put them aside. we rock the A-team here. The A-team, the B-team, they didn't even come to enjoy our party.
And if I can give any advice to friends going to rallying, be friends first. Because rallying tests you, off-road tests you, but you've got to be friends.
The duo of Soanjit Singh Pue and Adnan Dean won the Division 2 trophy, with Nikhil Sashania and his navigator Alfir Khan emerging Division 3 winners. Sarit Shah and Wayne Fernandez took the two-wheel drive gong, with Singh Pui and Adnan Dean bagging Group S diadem, as Nikhil Sashania and Alfir Khan took home the SPV title. Rossfield and Quentin Savage were the overall champions in the Rally Raid Championship, as veteran navigator Safin Khan won the autocross title. Neil Vadgama won the open class karting title as Yuvraj Rajput topped in the Yame class.
Well done, a big hand to you, Rod.
Kenya's quest to return the safari back to the World Rally Championship status after an 18 years absence officially begins as season opening KMSF National Rally Championship round will be held in the last weekend of this month.
If we manage to bring it back, it will be a great achievement for Kenya and Africa at large.
We cannot overstate our intent to remain in motorsport in Kenya and our pride in having stayed for the last 16 years.
The Ghana Night kicks off the 2019 calendar, which climax in July when Kenya will be hosting the FIA World Rally Championship Safari Rally calendar event, a precursor to a fully fledged WRC Safari Rally event. Brian Otwal, NTV.
Thanks for that, Brian. Let's move on. Host Peponi School clinched a double in the 2019 Hog Charge Challenge as the school scooped the Under-12 Girls Division and the Girls Under-14 category at Sukari Ranch, Arroyo. Bande School replicated the result in the boys' classification, winning both the Under-12 and Under-14 categories. Over 800 riders from 50 schools across the country took part in the 21st edition of the tournament that featured a new race course with a more challenging navigation circuit that included a new bike pit and cycling track. This year's Hog Charge, that is Kenya's mountain bike competition for teens, raised 5 million shillings that will go towards conservation efforts of the Aberdare forest.
Well, it's a fun bicycle race, but the most important message here is the concept of conservation. So they're fundraising towards the Rhino Ark, which is a charity that aids in the building of the fences around Mount Kenya National Park and as well as Aberdare National Park, which houses most of our water sources that provide water for Nairobi and most of Kenya.
It was fun. It was a bit hard, but I had a strong team, so it was fun for us. Yeah.
Let's cross borders now. Manchester City eased past bottom-placed Huddersfield to go to close clearly I wasn't able to answer Zane's riddle from before, so maybe she can just tell us what the answer is now.
So first of all, you're wearing a very beautiful lipstick.
Thank you.
How did you buy that?
That's an answer for another day, Zane.
Personal?
Personal. I don't want to release all the secrets on national TV.
So would I ask, how does a duck buy the lipstick?
Yeah.
What do you think?
You tell me.
Well, she puts it on the bill.
What?
She puts it on the bill.
I'll have to get that later.
On the bill.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this evening. Thank you so much for making the time for us. Our sign language interpreter this evening was Flora Achieno, and my name is Zainab Ismail. Good evening.
Queen of dry jokes.
Wearing the crown.
I'm Ida Waringa.